Okay, I promised that I was going to take another topic on when you are in school and you notice you are pregnant, or when you are not married and you notice you are pregnant. What are you going to do? Should you keep it? Should you remove it? And if you decide to keep it, the things you are bothering about is who gave you the pregnancy? Is he interested? Since he's not interested many of the times, and he's making available funds for you to go and terminate the pregnancy, and of course he's hostile to you because of that information that you are now pregnant. So many times, and even your parents are not supportive because you wouldn't know how to tell them. So all of the options is leading towards like you need to remove it. So I want to x-ray that situation carefully so that we'll know the right thing to always do, because these are the situations that have made a lot of people go ahead and remove their babies. So I'm looking at, let's approach it from this. Number one, you are not married. What are the things that leads to pregnancy? Because if pregnancy is something that is unwanted, pregnancy is something that is very cherished by those that are married. But now that you are not married, it becomes unwanted. Now, what leads to unwanted pregnancy? The first one is not the first one. The only thing is having unprotected sexual intercourse with the opposite. When a female meets a man and having unprotected intercourse at her ovulation period. Every month, a woman has a 24 hours period that she can get pregnant. And when that time coincides with you meeting with a man having unprotected sexual intercourse, you are going to get pregnant. Now, if that is what leads to pregnancy, and pregnancy happens within 24 hours for a lady. It's the reason why people can get pregnant. Like if a woman meets a man today and she's not pregnant, she can get pregnant next tomorrow. Is because even if she met a man today, it's because sometimes sperm can last up to 3 days in a woman waiting for egg. But the egg has the ability to last for just 24 hours. So if no sperm is available within that 24 hours, that egg is going to die off, and then she will subsequently menstruate and she will not get pregnant. So for everybody that is pregnant, the sexual intercourse happened at the time that coincided with their ovulation. So a woman that does not want to get pregnant, that doesn't like the outcome, because for everything you want to do, you want to check the outcome of what I'm doing. Am I ready for it? So if you're not ready for the outcome, which is pregnancy, then what you are supposed to do, there are two things to do. The first is avoid sexual intercourse. You are in a relationship, because many of the people, it is the relationship that eventually lead them to having sexual intercourse because of the kind of relationship they get involved. Many relationships are not right. Many relationships are not pure. They are born out of the desire to fill in the emotional gaps in their life. So many people start up a relationship, even in secondary school, because as you attain puberty, there is that vacuum, there is that desire for the opposite. So in order to fill that gap, many people start up relationships. So that fantasy of wanting to have somebody touch you, wanting to have somebody to confide in, speak with, somebody to show you love, it pushed a lot of people to eventually start relationships. And many of them are not ready for the outcome. Many of them end up having sexual intercourse and get pregnant even in secondary school, and then university and in different places when they are not ready for it. So now, if that is what eventually leads to pregnancy, and you know you are not ready for pregnancy, the most important thing is avoid those kind of relationships that will lead you to having sexual intercourse. Anything you know you are not ready for, why do you want to invest time in it? You know that this way this relationship is going to lead me to having sex, and it's going to make me pregnant. And am I ready for pregnancy? If you are not ready, why are you investing in what you are not ready to do? Then, in the flip side, some people will say, well, since that is an emotional need and you need to fill it up, why not have protected sexual intercourse to avoid pregnancy? That is preached. That is will be emphasized by in a secular environment, because the understanding is, okay, if since we cannot stop somebody from having sexual intercourse, do we have any other thing to do to, even if they have sexual intercourse, at least protect them from having pregnancy? And then that's how the production of condom came about. And also because condom also would, apart from pregnancy, it also will protect you from sexually transmitted diseases. So the idea is, if you cannot stop because you fear God, can we reduce the evil? Can we make the evil less, so that you cannot proceed from having sexual intercourse, which is a sin and fornication, to having unwanted pregnancy, to having to commit abortion and all of that. So can we see if we can reduce the evil? So some people started prescribing that. But the question is, even if we prevent pregnancy and prevent sexually transmitted infections, the idea is now, sexuality doesn't just happen, and somebody just goes free with it. I was listening to a man of God talking the other time. He said anytime somebody has sexual intercourse, he actually enters illegally into the spirit realm. So like I said, a pastor once opined that anytime you have sexual intercourse, you actually enter illegally into the spirit realm. And a lot can happen to you. Destinies have been sustained. A lot of things have happened. A lot. Curses has been shared. Demons have infiltrated lives. People have lost their sanity. Infringements in destiny pursuits has happened by demonic personalities by virtue of exposures to certain persons with on sexual intercourse. So, in as much as um, to preach the fact that since you are not ready for pregnancy, have protected sexual intercourse. Also, since you don't want to have an STI, have protected sexual intercourse. In as much as that preaching will sell, I think what should sell more is if you are able to handle that, how do you handle the spiritual matters that concern sexual intercourse? Is it not better to hold back yourself? Some people in other parlance say zip up and stay true. And sometimes people argue, how do you tell us to stay out? How do we handle emotional lives? How do we handle these desires when we have to? How do we deal with these desires, telling us to stay off? The Bible said something. It said, if you put fire in your bosom, you will be burnt. Now, what if you didn't put fire in your bosom? You will not be burnt. So sometimes you can intentionally put away from you things that will lure you to having sexual intercourse. You can intentionally do that. I think those are one of the things that I did while I was young or before I got married, because I was able to get married as a virgin boy. And what helped me was the fact, number one, is that I feared God and I didn't want to break God's laws genuinely from my heart. Anything I know that will make God unhappy with me, I didn't want to do it. So I enjoyed grace and I exhibited some sort of restraint, not to give myself so much permission. Like some people will say there is grace, and then they give so much permissions, and then they finally notice that grace empowers you not to sin, but we also have our willpower that can make us sin, even in the midst of grace. The Bible said the grace of God had appeared to all men, teaching us that denying ungodliness. So grace teaches you to deny. Because of that grace gives you like a pull away. Because of the availability of grace, you don't want to do the wrong. So because you don't want to do the wrong, empowered by grace, you now see yourself putting up things. There are places I don't go to. There are people I don't relate with, and there are many birthday parties I did not attend just because I just feel the environment will not be good enough for me and it will not help my sanity as a Christian. So a lot of things I did just to make sure I stayed right, and I think these are the things you will have to do if you really want to stay right and you want to please God and you have the goal. And I think one of the things that also helped me going then was that I had the goal that I don't just want to be a child, a Christian. I want to go to heaven. So I want to be one of those that will truly see the face of God at the end of their life. So all of those things kept me away from that pleasure, because I just feel, is this worth it? Is this really worth it? Like, you do all of this, you stay in disfavor with God, a lot of things goes wrong, you can't get God's favor, a lot of things is just bad because you live in this. So that's why I'm not an advocate of have sex, have protected sex, even if that's okay to reduce the evil. But I'm not going to be advocate. But what about the other things that you need to handle? So that is it. So back to what we are saying now. If pregnancy happens, like finally now, pregnancy has now happened. You didn't take precautions. You didn't fear God enough, and now you are pregnant. What do you do? Maybe you are in school, you are in year one, you are in year two. What do you now do now that you are pregnant? Or maybe you are even yet, or maybe you just passed your JAM. You just got admission to go and study engineering or maybe medicine or whatever. and then you just checked, started vomiting, throwing up, and then you checked and you are pregnant. What do you now do? Because in your opinion, keeping the baby is going to truncate your academic desire. You have a lot of reasons why you want to remove it. Now, I have some prescribed things here, which I want to say. Anytime a baby enters, I want to tell you something that is not popular, but it's true. Keep the baby by all means. It's not popular, but for everybody that have kept it, none of them regretted it. Go and check people that kept it. I used to know of a Nollywood actor, was it Genevieve, that kept her baby when I think she had it in secondary school. And the last time, I don't follow all of those people, but at least people talk about them. I don't think anybody have told me that she has got another baby. So that is the only baby Genevieve now have. So nobody keeps a baby and regrets it. Some of them finally gets married and they're able to tell their spouse that I had a baby while I was in school, or I had a baby when they don't regret it. Those children come out, so they turn out to be very wonderful people and become very great supports to their parents, because their parents had them. So it's not popular, but it's something you should cross your mind to do. Now, how do you go about it if you want to keep it? Now, one of the things that keeps you, in case you are not getting the support from your parents, because most parents will not be supportive. In fact, so many parents tell you to go and remove it because they are not ready. Now, one thing you can do is to register in an orphanage. You can actually register in an orphanage, have that baby, and then after you deliver that baby, the orphanage will take over that baby. And then they will be able to give out that baby to other families that are looking for children and they don't have. And that baby is going to have a more wonderful life than you ever could give the baby. And that baby will turn out to be somebody of note in the society. And that's one way to do. So in case you are getting worried, how do I go? There are a lot of orphanages. I'm pregnant, I don't want the baby, but I don't want to remove it. So when I deliver, I want you to take care. And then in case you don't have the support from who got you the pregnancy, the person say go and remove it. Of course, that's the more reason that baby has to go to the orphanage, because you don't have support. But if the person that made you pregnant is interested and wants you to keep the baby, fine, go ahead and keep the baby. But you have to have a deal. Let him tell you his plans, why he wants you to keep it. What are his plans? How do you further your education? How do you continue what you are doing and still be able to have the baby? His mother or his grandmother, whoever, are they ready to take over taking care of this baby? As soon as they are ready, if you have a grandparent that is ready or a parent that is ready to take that baby from you so that you pursue your career, then have the baby. There is nothing wrong in having that baby. You will be happy you did. I can bet you. You will never regret that you kept that baby. Nobody keeps a human being. Even people that keep dogs and pets don't even regret they kept them, not to talk of a human being. Nobody keeps a human being and never regrets it. When they grow up, you can imagine a grown-up child like me, as grown up as I am. And maybe if I was in that situation, and maybe my mother now kept me, and now I happen to have grown up, I'm now married, I have children, I will keep blessing the mother. Thank God my mother did not remove me. Look at what I've turned out to be. I don't think I'm regretting being alive. So this is it. So nobody keeps a baby that regrets it. I have one of my, one nurse somewhere that was telling me that her mother went to remove her. And then the doctor told the mom that it is good to hear that you died giving birth than to hear that you died removing a baby. So that statement alone made the mother to keep her. She's the last born of the family. And now she's very wealthy. She drives her Jeep. She's not taking care of everybody in the family. Okay, imagine that baby was terminated. That whole thing would have gone, as in that family maybe would have remained in abject poverty. So some children are destiny children. You don't have to remove them. A lot of people that are making a lot, you need to go and hear their background. So just keep that baby. Nobody regrets it, I can bet you. So that's one way to go. And one thing you must make up your mind, you must look away from the shame. Just cross your mind that this has happened, I'm going to have it, then I'm going to move on. And please don't truncate your pursuit because you have a baby. Some people will say, it means you're no longer going to go to school. It's a lie. Have your baby and still go to school. You can have your baby, deliver the baby, and then go and resume back and start your schooling. You can actually be attending lectures with the pregnancy. And then when you deliver, you come back to lectures. You come and continue your things. You can miss a few classes, yes. You can do, some schools will say if you are pregnant, I know that, how would they know you are not married? And all of that. So whatever it is, keep your baby, have your baby. Don't stop your school. Don't stop whatever you are learning because you now have a baby. No. And then for parents that are very bombastic when their children eventually have babies, some people that have died were pushed by their parents to go and do abortion, and they eventually lost their lives. I remember one story we learned. The girl went to do abortion because her parents have told her severally to stop keeping relationship because it's not in their family thing to be doing that, but she would not. She's like the odd man out. She would not listen. She's the black sheep of the house. Finally, she got pregnant. She now tried to go and do abortion, and then she started bleeding. The parents left her alone, abandoned her. The who gave her the pregnancy abandoned her. I think she had a retained product. Nobody bothered to take her to the hospital to flush it. Those things started decaying. She started smelling. They would just carry food and throw for her in the room where she is. That's how she was smelling until finally she died. And the parents don't care. But that's cruelty in its highest. This lady can be well taken care of. Take her to the hospital. Let them do a proper ARPC for her. Forgive her. Make her know that she can rise again. It is falling is one, rising again is another. Anybody can fall. And some of these parents that have just put up a standard and believe that everybody is strategically, everybody must follow. Sometimes you must give room in your heart for people. Some people will fail. And when they fail, you must look for a way to encourage them to stand up again. Everybody cannot have the same path. Some people, the apostle, the Saul you know today can become the Paul of tomorrow. So you don't rule out everybody. Like everybody, this is the way I lived my life. Like the way I used to tell people that, yes, I never had a girlfriend growing up. And my wife was the first woman in my life. And then I will now use that judgment. Everybody must be like me. It's a lie. Everybody don't have the same journey. Some people's journey, because of the environment they find themselves, their journey is bedeviled with a lot of realities. So at every point anybody stands up, God sees you like a new person and then you move on. Pregnancy does not terminate anything. Doesn't terminate your pursuit. Doesn't terminate your career. Doesn't terminate anything. It's just one phase. And the pregnancy, God has now made it that it's just 9 months. It's not 10 years. Just 9 months, less than 1 year, everything is over. You arise again and pursue your dreams and do what you are supposed to do. So this is my advice for you. Please don't do abortion. If you insist that you are going to do abortion, I wrote some things here. The consequence of abortion is that you are going to be a murderer. You would have destroyed the life of an innocent baby. You understand? You would have incurred God's wrath and curses upon your life. You can also lose your life. It's a consequence. People have bled and then finally died. And then you can lose your reproductive career. As a woman, a lot of things can go wrong. Complications can happen. Like a young girl went to do abortion sometime, and when I was in the medical school, I think in 400 level, one of the cases we had there, the girl did abortion, and then I don't know how they did it. It's like they perforated her womb or something. There was pus everywhere in her stomach, and then all the doctors were waiting for her to die because the surgery was quite very bad, and they did a lot of, they did an X-lab, did a lot, and then they just were hoping it's 50-50. And that made me rush to her bedside to see if I could get her saved before she died. You understand? So many people have lost their life in trying to secure an abortion. So as much as possible, avoid whatever will lead to it. You have a relationship, you are becoming emotional, pull away from that person. You are not ready for marriage. And some people say it will lead to marriage, and it is now looking normal to have sex outside marriage. Almost everybody does it. That's what people used to say. I say no. In the circle I belong, everybody don't do it. In your circle, everybody does it. But where I belong in the community of Christians, people that fear God. Not everybody does it. We have a few that will do it. But many people fear God. Decide to fear God. Decide to belong to a community of those that fear God. And I think you will not have anything to regret. I don't know if this has blessed you. God bless you.